Republican Steve Scalise and several members of the local police department are in critical condition today after a man opened fire on the practice session before a Republican charity baseball game. It is said that 5 people are wounded and the gunman is dead. It took place earlier today at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. 5 people have been injured, and Scalise is reportedly in serious condition. U.S. President Donald Trump spoke to the media saying that the shooter had been killed on the scene by the police. Federal law enforcement has identified the shooter as 66-year-old James Hodgkinson of Belleville, Illinois. Republican Mo Brooks told CNN that Scalise is currently in the hospital listed under serious condition. Now, among the victims was a congressional staffer, Zach Barth, Matt Mika, a lobbyist for Tyson Foods. Now, the House Speaker, Paul Ryan, identified some more members, 2 members of the Capitol Police Force who were injured, Crystal Griner and David Bailey. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump has released a statement on the shooting.
Congressman Scalise is a friend, and a very good friend. He's a patriot, and he's a fighter. He will recover from this assault. And Steve, I want you to know that you have the prayers not only of the entire city behind you, but of an entire nation, and frankly, the entire world. America is praying for you, and America is praying for all of the victims of this terrible shooting.
The media is crafting an image of the shooter by analyzing his Facebook page. According to reports, his profile picture is a caricature of Bernie Sanders as Uncle Sam. It is full of anti-Trump sentiments such as Trump is guilty and should go to prison for treason. He also liked a political cartoon that suggested Scalise should be fired. On March 22nd, he posted, "Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. It's time to destroy Trump and company." Now, Democratic Senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, has revealed that the suspected shooter was involved in his campaign as a volunteer, and that he denounced these actions in the strongest possible terms.
Madam President, I have just been informed that the alleged shooter at the Republican baseball practice this morning is someone who apparently volunteered on my presidential campaign. I am sickened by this despicable act, and let me be as clear as I can be. Violence of any kind is unacceptable in our society, and I condemn this action in the strongest possible terms. Real change can only come about through nonviolent action, and anything else runs counter to our most deeply held American values.
This phrase strikes me as very odd because the United States is a place of violence. It's a place of incarceration for astronomical numbers of gun deaths. The United States is a violent place by its very nature. It was born out of a revolution against the British Empire. 214 years out of Summer was at 235 years that the United States has been in existence. It has been at war, either with itself or with another country. America has always prided itself on its Second Amendment, its right to bear arms, and its right to have a regulated militia there to overthrow the government should it become tyrannical. There's always been a very violent basis for property rights inside of U.S. society. And in fact, very much, the U.S. Revolution, the Revolutionary War, was based on the private ownership of property away from notions of feudal property, that you had to be a member of the aristocracy in order to own land or to own property in that way. The U.S. Revolution was based on private property ownership away from feudal notions of private property. And this is something that has created the "Don't Tread on Me," the Gadsden flag. It's created a whole culture around the use of violence to defend property. This idea that somehow it is un-American to be violent, or that violence is somehow un-American, is simply facetious. The United States is a violent society. It is based on violence. It is currently an empire spanning across the globe that was built on violence. The very core of the American identity is violence. What Bernie Sanders is saying here is simply nonsensical. It's simply false. The problem in this situation is that violence was used against a member of the established political order. And that is what's really unacceptable here. Because it has always been fine to use violence against other countries. Currently, bombing Iraq with white phosphorus has always been fine. Bombing countries based on complete phony pretexts has always been fine. Invading countries for their resources has always been fine. And it's been a staple of how the American empire has functioned. So this idea that Bernie Sanders finds that violence is un-American is something that exists in his own mind, and is really something that is just meant to denounce the use of violence against one of the people in power. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.